provinces to further enhance its education infrastructure development. Honorable Speaker, in our continued pursuit of service excellence and administrative alignment, we have formally reconfigured the Moteo District Education Department, which is now officially recognized as Mangaung Metropolitan Education District, in line with the latest municipal demarcation dispensation. Furthermore, Honorable Speaker, we are pleased to affirm or to confirm that plans to relocate Qarib Education District offices to its dedicated premises in Tronsberg are at an advanced stage, with a relocation expected to be finalized before the end of the academic year. In the spirit of the African proverb, which says, "The sun does not forget a village just because it is small," the relocation will not only improve accessibility and administrative efficiency, but it will also serve as a catalyst for the local development and economic renewal in the heart of Qarib, reminding us that every corner of our province deserves the light of progress. Honorable Speaker, even as we celebrate the successes, or these particular successes, we cannot turn a blind eye to the surmountable obstacles that stands in the way of delivering the high-quality education every child deserves. These are recurring budget cuts, convention of eligible grade R, delayed in completion of infrastructure projects, limited information and communication strategy or technology infrastructure, and uneven connectivity to our schools, shortage of qualified teachers, particularly in critical subjects and rural areas, safety of our learners, teachers, and schools. Honorable Speaker, we take this opportunity to remember the passing of Ndate Musiwa Chabahai, a devoted mathematics teacher in Kgololosego Secondary School, who was brutally murdered on the 23rd of September 2024. We also pause to honor the memory of a 13-year-old Mbali Mlamba of Vulindlela Primary School, whose tragic passing on the 8th of April highlights the devastating impact of bullying in our school. We extend our deepest condolences to their families. Honorable Speaker, we do reaffirm our unwavering commitment to eradicating bullying and gender-based violence, strengthening psychosocial support and building a safe, nurturing school environment. Honorable Speaker, we recently finalized the Department 2025 to 2030 strategic plan rooted in the MDTP 2024-2029. Each of our programs in the department emanates from the strategic plan, is purposefully aligned with the 3 strategic priorities of MDTP, and directly supports the priorities of the basic education sector for the 7th administration. The province or the provincial department has adopted the following 6 priorities for the current administration. 1, improve access to early childhood development, improve literacy and numeracy skills across the phases of school, improve access to inclusive education and strengthening social cohesion, improve access to training and professional development opportunities for teachers and schools management teams, improve safety and quality of schooling environment and infrastructure development, curriculum recovery and offering skills and competencies for the changing world. Honorable Speaker, the above sector priorities will advance the government's national strategic priorities in the following ways. 1, implementation of the 3-stream Model C, or model and roll out digital and science education in schools to build the skills sets needed for the economy. The rollout of school infrastructure projects aimed at stimulating local economy, creating of jobs opportunities through initiatives such as internships, EPWP, basic education employment initiatives. Honorable Speaker, through the poor policies and programs such as ECD, schools nutrition, no fee paying schools, hostel projects, and learner transport, we will ensure that no learner is left behind whilst cushioning our people from high cost of living. Honorable Speaker, for the 2025-2026 financial year, the Free State Department of Education has been allocated a budget of 18.889 billion, marking a 4.45% increase from the previous financial year of the previous allocation of 17.895 billion. Looking ahead, the MTEP period, it reflects that a projected allocation of 19.632 billion for 2026-2027, a projection of 20.498 billion for 2027-2028. Whilst this upward adjustment is welcomed, it must be acknowledged that it occurs within the broader context of continued fiscal constraint, requiring us to exercise rigorous financial disciplines, innovation in service delivery, and sharper focus on impactful or impact-driven spending. Honorable Speaker, the President's reaffirmation on early childhood development as a national priority, underscoring its vital role in promoting equality and building a just, inclusive society. In 2024-2025, we recorded a significant increase in enrollment from 72,000 to 90,000 children, growing the numbers of centers from 1,400 to 1,500 and ensuring equitable support through subsidies and resources for previously unfunded centers. Infrastructure upgrades completed in Qwaqwa and in Timbeng reinforce safety and quality of compliance with the Children's Act of 2005, which is Act 38. In addition, in 2024, we have successfully trained a total of 1,005 ECD practitioners on the National Curriculum Framework, upskilled 291 ECD practitioners towards the NQF Level 4, so that every classroom is led by professionals equipped with the latest early learning methodologies. Honorable Speaker, in 2025-2026 financial year, we have allocated a budget of 335.8 million ECDs. Our Bana Pele mass registration drive will ensure that 1,000 or will show 100 new ECD centers are formally registered and integrated into South African school administration and management systems, ensuring no child is excluded from the education system. This drive will ensure that 75,705 eligible children receive crucial early childhood support. An estimated total of 6,993 children stands to benefit from this particular subsidy compared to the 2024-2025 financial year. Amongst others, the subsidy is meant to provide such needed nutrition, preventing stunting and malnutrition. As part of paying homage to Nelson Mandela's legacy and honoring the ANC commitment to restore dignity, we will upgrade the infrastructure of 15 ECD centers aimed at eliminating pit toilets in ECDs in Tabanchu, Zastron, Qwaqwa, and Virginia. Honorable Speaker, the enactment of the Bella Act has declared Grade R as a compulsory entry point into formal schooling. In 2024, we trained 640 Grade R teachers and assessed 565 learners across 103 schools and ECD sites for school readiness at both the start and the end of the year. Honorable Speaker, in 2025-2026, we will provide learning material, classroom furniture, and expand access to structured learning opportunities. We will also construct 51 new Grade R classrooms across 17 schools, a decisive step towards universal Grade R access. Recognizing that the quality of education is directly linked to teacher competence, we will train the following officials: 600 Grade R practitioners on perpetual school skills, equipping them with structured early learning manuals, 300 Grade R teachers in ECD centers, and 650 Grade R teachers in numeracy. Honorable Speaker, in response to the reading crisis and a poor performance in mathematics highlighted in the progress report of International Reading Literacy and Study report of 2021, and the trends in International Mathematics and Science Study report of 2023, respectively, the department has conducted a baseline language and mathematics assessment in over 190 primary schools. We have capacitated over 7,000 educators through a targeted training and initiatives including the following: the Jolly phonics training for 1,200 Grade R teachers, reading methodology training for 500 for Grade 2 teachers, primary schools reading improvement programs, reading enrichment programs for 1,000, reading enrichment program for 137 and 90 Grade 1 to Grade 7 learners. Honorable Speaker, an estimated amount of 6 million has been set aside for the implementation of the Provincial Literacy and Numeracy Strategy in 2025-2026. To ensure effective implementation, we have actively rallied parents, SGBs, primary schools across the province, securing the buy-in around centering primary education as a program and the backdrop of future academic success. Addressing the reading crisis remains a top priority as we strive to strengthen fundamental or foundational literacy and numeracy skills. As a result, to boost curriculum delivery and subject leadership across key learning areas, we will 1. Provide learning and teaching support material, conduct teaching development program, conduct learner enrichment program, as well as ensuring that 300 learners will participate in the language enrichment activities in the new financial year. Honorable Speaker, inclusive education lies at the heart of our constitutional commitment to quality, dignity, and access for all. In 2024-2025 financial year, the department made substantial strides towards the following. 1, out of the 3 hostels that we are currently building, one of them, namely Orange Krag, has been completed while construction is underway in Pitumelo, in Tabanchu, and Tronsberg in Clarib. Honorable Speaker, in the 2025-2026 financial year, we are scaling up our commitment to inclusive education with renewed energy and resources. An amount of 1.7 million has been set aside to continue the rollout of specialized CIAS training for teachers and officials. We are allocating 33 million through the Learners with Severe to Profound Intellectual Disability grant to enhance support for these children, including the provision of accessible devices, specialized learning and teaching support material, and the employment of therapists and caregivers. Schools or scholar transport for special school learners is also receiving a boost to ensure reliable, accessible mobility. We are advancing the repurposing of schools like Monyati Primary School in Bloemfontein, Refihlile Primary School in Botshabelo, Dirisana Primary School in Tabo, Villiers Combined School in Villiers, Pitumelo Special Schools in Tabanchu, and Ikanyegen Combined Schools in Jacobsdal into schools of skills, offering technical occupational curricula that equip learners with practical skills in fields such as agricultural studies, consumer studies, civil, mechanical, and electrical technology, hairdressing, personal care, and auxiliary health care. Honorable Speaker, annually, we are proudly recognizing and celebrating our Free State educators who have shown excellence in teaching through National Teaching Awards. Tiseso Daniel Chaka of Tibulua Special Schools took the first place in special needs training and drove away with a car. Alina Mojobo Tikhang of Pumulom Public School and second place in grade R teaching, and Lucia Mubongiwe Kele of Tisetsang Secondary School secured the third place in secondary school leadership. Honorable Speaker, for the 2025-2026 financial year, we have allocated a budget of 44,451,000 for professional development and psychosocial support in underperforming schools. This includes resources for teacher wellness, resilience building initiatives, and continued participation in the National Teaching Awards. Thus, we will be implementing a robust program of professional development, governance strengthening, and psychosocial support to improve the quality of education delivery. In addition, we will train 1,000 ECD practitioners. We will also ensure that foundation phase educators on effective subject content and methodology, as well as the teaching of reading. 1,200 teachers on digital literacy and ICT integration. Honorable Speaker, ensuring safe, dignified and future-ready learning environment is not only a policy imperative, it is a moral obligation. In 2024-2025 financial year, we installed a security fencing in 47 schools, safeguarding schools, learners, and educators. We trained 1,000 school safety committee members, including SGB representatives, safety officers, and probation practitioners, to implement the school's specific safety plans. Our strategy includes values-driven education and positive behavior change through community dialogues, learners ambassador programs, and a transformative partnership with SACRO to cultivate safety champions in schools. In 2025-2026, a budget of 5 million has been set aside for school safety, and our interventions will focus on the following. One, broadening of search and seizure. Somebody is reading with me and it's disturbing. It's reading quite loudly, Honorable Speaker, and it's disturbing the process that I'm busy with now. Broadening in search and seizure operations in collaboration with law enforcement agencies. Broadening of anti-crime campaigns to reach 10,000 learners across various districts. Facilitation of dialogues of 1,000 grade 8 and 9 learners on violence prevention, substance abuse, and bullying and gangsterism. Honorable Speaker, in 2024-2025, we completed 3 new schools: Dr. DR Solo Primary School in Ramulutsi Fuljonskron, Malebogo Primary School in Hersoville, and Albert Genoot Primary School in Mangaung, which we are in the process of renaming after the late Free State MEC Ndate, Dr. P.H.I. Mahwe. Currently, 6 new schools and 3 replacement schools are under construction, each at varying stages of completion. Honorable Speaker, an amount of 1.085 billion has been allocated for the 2025-2026 financial year for the infrastructure development. As part of our continued commitment to expanding access and addressing overcrowding, procurement processes will commence in the new financial year for the construction of 3 schools: Khotso Taole Technical School in Botshabelo, Tuto Kilisedi Secondary School in Sasolburg, and Langenhoven Park Comprehensive School in Bloemfontein. In addition, this investment will enable us to facilitate, amongst others, construction of 51 new grade R classrooms, renovation of 15 ECT centers, development of 2 centers, state-of-the-art science laboratories, and critical maintenance and upgrading of 43 schools. Furthermore, through these upgrades, we will be repurposing some of the academic schools into technical, agricultural, and arts schools, amongst others. For technical education, schools including Kabo, Kaba, Ring, Kokodia, JC Mutumi, Kutlano, Nebuser, Moroka, Kwetliso will be enhanced for the industry-aligned skills to support agricultural education. We are transforming Bikhehelo Secondary School in Makwalo, Friede, Houtfeld Secondary School in Welkom, Freehoek Intermediate Schools in Welkom, Bensvlei Combined School in Bloemfontein, and Friede Primary School in Friede into agricultural training hubs. In the creative arts, Makwane Secondary School will be repurposed into a dedicated Articon school, cultivating talent and careers in the growing creativity or creative economy. Furthermore, recognizing our constitutional obligation in inclusive education, we are repurposing schools with underutilized classrooms in each district to support learners with moderate intellectual disability. These schools will offer specialized programs that equip learners with practical life vocational skills, empowering them for long life independence and meaningful economic participation. Honorable Speaker, in addition to the above-mentioned infrastructure improvement, the department will provide existing schools with ablution blocks, 11 schools to be precise. Additional classrooms to 5 schools, securing fences to 51 schools, laboratories to 50 schools. nutrition centers to 3 schools, and admission blocks to 10 schools. We are taking bold and unapologetic steps to safeguard schools from persistent water and electricity disruptions. In 2025-2026, we'll implement targeted alternative water provision in 10 of our schools, including water sourcing, purification, and ensuring a minimum of 48 hours on-site storage. Honorable Speaker, our technical schools increased from 29 in 2024 to 31 in 2025. Additional 15 more schools have introduced digital technology in grade 8 and grade 9, embedding vital skills in coding and automation and artificial intelligence. In addition, through the co-funded ProMets project with Invest and Harmony Gold Mining Limited, respectively, we provided targeted mathematics and science support to 2,000 grade 10 to grade 12 learners across 3 districts, ensuring expert guidance in the 3 critical subjects. In 2024, August, we successfully hosted the 5th Provincial Technical School Skills Competition, where 117 learners and 56 teachers demonstrated their technical mastery. This skills competition has become a launchpad for talent, with 5 learners earning national recognition, including one securing a prestigious 300,000 bursary, a clear proof of untapped potential that exists in our province. Honorable Speaker, in our current financial year, through Maths Science Technology grants, we have allocated 51.1 million to enhance and expand existing interventions in STEM subjects, which will allow us to, 1, equip 23 technical schools offering electrical technology in grade 8 and grade 9, support 31 schools offering civil technology in grade 8 and grade 9, procure practical assessment task material for 33 technical schools. Through our partnership with MTN, the department has launched a tailored learner management system and will equip quintile 1 to 3 schools with 20,000 tablets, focusing on key subjects like maths, science, and technology. Honorable Speaker, in view of the strategic partnership with Chemical Industry Education and Training Authority, we are proud to highlight the transformation of the former Tia College of Education in Qwaqwa into a center of excellence in skills development. As a key outcome of this partnership, a state-of-the-art Smart Skills Center will be officially handed over to the Free State Department of Basic Education by the Minister of Higher Education and Training, Honorable Minister Nobuhle Ngabane, in July 2025. This innovation facility will provide access to virtual reality platforms for engineering-related programs and essential digital skills training, empowering our rural communities and bridging the digital gap. Honorable Speaker, in our pursuit of a future-ready education system, we are proud to launch the multi-certification pilot project, empowering learners to graduate with national senior certificate and multiple industry-related qualifications. This year, we will see more of our learners enrolling in graduating with additional facilities or certificates, boosting our employability and access to further opportunities in the following short courses. 1, agricultural sector. 300 grade 10 to 12 learners will be gaining vital skills in sheep handling, animal health, and lamb rearing. We have established a Hendrik Potgieter Agricultural Schools as a dedicated training hub with Seotlong, Trio, and Unicorn Schools joining as additional centers to ensure sustainability. In the engineering sector, 45 grade 12 learners will receive arc welding certificates through SA track bodies. In the telecommunication sector and ICT, we will facilitate provision of short courses certificate in cybersecurity, digital marketing, and data analytics in partnership with MTN. We'll also provide accredited short courses on ICT infrastructure, basic software and hardware, domain and cloud Computing in partnership with Huawei. Honorable Speaker, Basic Education Initiative is quite critical to basic education. Therefore, a total of 15,249 young people were employed across the Free State Province through the Basic Education Employment Initiative Phase 4. This particular phase made sure that we place in all schools through the province in the new financial year a total of 11,408 employment opportunities will be created. This is expected to ensure that placement of 9,570 education assistants in 784 schools across all districts. Honorable Speaker, we made tangible progress through internships and work-integrated learning programs, ensuring that young graduates and young people gain invaluable skills and experience to access sustainable employment. 25 social work interns were appointed in 2023. And in 2024, their employment was turned from internship to permanent employment. We appointed 114 interns in administration and 48 young people across 5 districts as change agents for teaching and learning on 3-year contract basis. The number of change agents for teaching and learning has been increased to 70 for the new financial year. We have also appointed 116 young people as interns, 83 of whom have just commenced their internship on the 1st of April 2025. Honorable Speaker, in 2024-2025 financial year, the expanded public works program created 218 job opportunities, directly offering much more needed employment opportunities, mainly in Kharib communities. In 2025-2026 financial year, the department will create 179 EPWP employment opportunities with a deliberate focus on capacity building and building specifically for Kharib Education District. Honorable Speaker, we have intensified the effort to eliminate socio-economic barriers that hinder learner success. In 2024-2025 financial year, we strengthened the National School Nutrition Program, where we saw 595,339 learners in 775 schools receiving nutrition on daily basis. Looking ahead in 2025-2026 financial year, a budget of 592,500 million has been set aside to increase the number of learners benefiting from NSNP to 600. This will be complemented by placement of 3,338 voluntary food handlers. Honorable Speaker, over the past 5 financial years, the department achieved unqualified audit outcomes, reflecting accurate and complete financial reporting. We are intensifying the effort to strengthen our financial management and operational efficiencies in 2025-2026. Honorable Speaker, in 2025-2026 financial year, the department will enhance some of its successes, including an allocation of 8.5 million to expand mass participation in national building program in a form of sports recreation activities targeting 8,500 learners across the district, strengthening the sports, youth creation, arts and culture leadership programs by training 2,500 learners as part of this particular program, expanding the value in education program to reach 12,000 learners in 2025-2026 financial year. Honorable Speaker, we remain unwavering in our commitment to forge dynamic and strategic partnership with private sector and key stakeholders through targeting corporate social responsibility initiatives. These partnerships are not merely transactional, they are transformative vehicles for social economic empowerment, particularly for women and youth in our province. To give full expression to this vision, the department will convene a partnership summit in 2025, which will serve as a catalytic platform to mobilize, support, align efforts, and foster purposeful collaboration between government, business, and civil society. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, we call on our educators, parents, community leaders, and corporate partners to collaborate with us in building a stronger and much more brighter future for every child in our province. Let this budget be more than just numbers. Let it be a collective commitment to making education a fundamental right, not a privilege. As Mam Charlotte Maxeke once profound said, if you can rise, bring someone with you. It is in this very spirit that we, as the department, deeply believe that education is the most powerful tool for transformation, and that together we will ensure that every child in the Free State Province reach their full potential for a prosperous future. On behalf of Memaboya, Honorable Speaker, I will take this opportunity to extend my appreciation to the organization, which is the African National Congress, the Free State Premier Queen Lesuwa Mathai, members of the Executive Council, and members of the Portfolio Committee for the unwavering support and guidance that they always provide. We are indebted to the people of the Free State Province, school governing bodies, organized labor, QLTC structures, schools leadership teams, teachers, corporate partners, NGOs, CBOs, municipalities, provincial departments, universities, churches for their contribution and tireless support. To the family of Memaboya, on her behalf, thank you very much. But the most appreciation goes to Advocate Malakwani, who is the head of the Department of Education, together with his team in the Department of Education. Thank you very much, colleagues. I thank you.
Thank you. I'll now call upon the Honourable Member Mbalula.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, Mema Queen Lesuwa Mathai, MEC Maboya in absentia, and members of the Free State Legislature, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Honorable Speaker. We support the 2025-26 budget vote as presented by MEC Manche on behalf of MEC Maboya. This is not just a budget, but this is a radical statement that in the Free State, education is a right, not a privilege. This budget demonstrates the ANC-led government's firm commitment to changing lives, restoring the dignity, and developing the human capital that is needed for an inclusive economy that will be sustained. Egbare Speaker, die Vrystaat is 'n toonbeeld van uitnemenderheid in die land op die onderwysfront. Ho bolelang fela hore mona Vrystaat education continue to be a model of excellence. For 6 straight years, our province has been number 1 in all the matric results. We have made history this year. A 91% national senior certificate pass rate, and a significant increase in the bachelor passes. This is a transformation happening. This is what results from the combination of good policy and leadership of the people. In this Youth Month, we should not forget that education was the cause of 1976 uprising. We pay tribute to those warriors by ensuring that every child from Qwaqwa to Harib received an education that frees the mind and broadens their future. As Tata Nelson Mandela so famously said, and I quote, "It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that the son of a mine worker can become head of the mine, that the child of a farm worker can become the president of a great nation." Close quote. The legacy lives on today in students like Kamohelo Musikidi, who is our 2023 top achiever. Kamohelo Musikidi overcame poverty, crime, and hardship, and is now studying computer science at the University of Cape Town. The ANC made that possible. We not only talk progress, but we make it. But, Honorable Speaker, as we are constructing schools and training teachers and turning townships into centers of excellence, some here in his house refuse to see this evidence in front of them. As Frantz Fanon once wrote, I quote, "Sometimes people hold a core belief that is very strong. When they are given evidence against what they believe, the new evidence cannot be accepted." Close quote. Now, that is precisely the problem with the Democratic Alliance and the EFF. They have chosen political fiction instead of educational fact. They drive around communities sharing half-truths, painting the ANC as a failure, even in the face of undeniable progress. They are the ones who claim the ANC has destroyed education, yet they never discuss the hostel in Oranjekrag, which was built for farm children. They do not say anything about the 51 new grade R classrooms built, the 15 ECD centers being improved, the tens of thousands of children rescued from hunger because of National Nutrition Program. They say we neglect the youth when more than 15,000 youth have been given work exposure through BEEI, and learners now earn multiple certifications in agriculture, welding, tourism, ICT, all thanks to the ANC policies and partnerships. In education, if education is seriously in crisis, as they say, then how come the Free State churns out top-achieving learners year after year? Let's be clear, the ANC is not simply in our communities, but we are changing them. This budget is about real lives. It serves children in no-fee schools. It gives students with disability agency. It promotes resilience, closes the digital divide, and salutes every township and rural school that dares to dream beyond its immediate horizon. Honorable Speaker, the DA and the EFF must desist from weaponizing people's struggles for political mileage. They should head to the trenches, to these schools, to these learners, and see for themselves the change they are so quick to dismiss. Let us continue to stand behind MEC Mabuya's budget as presented by MEC Manje today. In this regard, his leadership demonstrates that with political will, a community partnership, and a values-driven transformative vision of education can become a cornerstone of a few just in society. Let us recall the words of Mama Charlotte Maxeke in saying, "If you can rise, bring someone with you." Through this budget, we rise today and we lift millions with us. And as we committed in 1955 Freedom Charter, in which a clause that states that the doors of learning culture shall be open, we will continue on this journey as the African National Congress until all society is free. Thank you very much.
give you 13 minutes, you use only 7 of that minute. Honorable, oh, it's Friday, so you're in a hurry. Honorable Tute. Well,
thank you, Speaker. In the grand scheme of a provincial budget, R1 million might not seem like much, especially in a department that gets the lion's share. But that mindset, ach, dis nie baie nie, is exactly why we are in this mess. Because R1 million is significant. Let me tell you why. In 2023, this department launched a project to build a school nutrition center at AJC Jooste School in Pietersburg. This contract went to a company named Mkhize Kwabe Properties, a company who, according to themselves, have experience in marketing, copywriting, and event coordination. But nothing about construction. And now, just as we've come to expect, under the ANC government, the site is abandoned. No construction, no progress. Boitlamo Batenkai Imizimbalula. But over R1 million has been paid to a company operating from Sandton in Gauteng. Still, the learners of the AJC Jooste School have no nutrition center, just empty promises and an empty lot. Speaker, wie is die mense wat ons aanstel om ons geld so te mors? Now let's talk about the promised school in Langehoven Park. What's been built so far? A fence. That's it. During the ballot process, we stressed the urgent need for new schools. But has a contractor been appointed? Who knows? But at least there's a fence. And now with ballot making grade R compulsory, the pressure mounts. More teachers, more learners. But during ProPack, this very department admitted they can't afford the added pressure of grade R in the department. They're already buckling under the wage bill, so how exactly do they plan to fund this? Speaker, R1 million may be a small number on a spreadsheet, but in competent hands, it could have made a difference. Build a classroom, hired a teacher, or fed hundreds of children. Instead, under the ANC mismanagement, it's just gone with nothing to show. A failed project and a fence, fantastic failures by the ANC. This isn't a funding problem, Speaker. It's a leadership problem, a competence problem, a governance problem. And it's our children who are paying the price. Thank you, Speaker.
Dr. Fogo.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, Honorable Members, as Mkondo wesizwe in this province, Honorable Speaker, we are saying, Honorable Speaker, we agree that education is the best in this province. Free State is having 3,035 schools spread across 138 cities and towns in the province. But, Honorable Speaker, that number, other schools are depleted. Other schools are not working. Other schools, they are not having toilets, Speaker. Re reng ka bana ba rona ba eleng hore ba tsamaya dikolo tseo ka budget ena e tswileng ya hore bana ha bana di-toilete, ha bana metsi dikolong tsa rona tsa mapolasing. E re ke tlhoa tse ding tsa dikolo tse leng hore, Honorable Speaker, di maemong a mabe haholo mane Vai-Hoek Combined School in Machabeng. Hona le bothata mo bana ba grade 6 le grade 5 ba ithutela ka tlelaseng e le nngwe mahlabisa ditlhong a makalo hore o fumane thuto e leng hore ke thuto e ka pele ho wena kapo ke thuto e ka tlase ho wena o so fetile ka hara yona ke tse ding tsa dintlha tse tshwanetse re di lokise re shebe mane garipi mane honorable speaker mo e leng hore dikolo teng ha di so hlabollwe tse ding di tlositswe mo tshwantseng di tloswe teng di santseng di kwetswe le hona jwale ha ona dikolo mo baneng ba rona ba mapolasi re shebile hape mapolasing ke ka ho re qadileng ka hore re na le dikolo tse 3035 ka hara Free State empa tse ding tsa tsona ha di sebetse jwale honorable speaker re hloka tlhabollo e kgolo haholo dikolong tsa rona tsa bana ba rona ba mapolasing be leng hore ba tsamaya tsela e telele ho fitlhella dikolong ha re bui ka yona eo hoba budget ena ha ya etsetswa le bona hape hore ba kgone ho fitlhella dikolong ke ka ho ba sa fitleng dikolong honorable speaker ke a leboha honorable speaker.
Honourable Member Leach.
Honourable Speaker, the Free State Province performed exceptionally well during the 2024 schooling year, achieving a 91% grade 12 pass rate. Or did it? In 2013, 66,915 learners enrolled for grade 1. And in 2024, of those, only 33,039 learners wrote the final grade 12 examination. Taking this alarming dropout into consideration, the true pass rate is brought down to just under 50%. Over the years, there has been a serious lack of progress towards the intervention in the dropout rate by the provincial department. While more and more young lives are robbed of their futures, we know that many learners had to overcome severe socio-economic and other circumstances to reach grade 12 and sit their examinations. The Free State must emulate the National Department of Education's proposed strategic reorientation towards early childhood development and the foundation phase, such as the successful rollout of the Jolly Phonics, including training grade 2 teachers, as well as the plans to develop systems with the ability to track each learner's path through basic education, including those that move to independent or private schools or TVET colleges to complete their schooling. Then truly will no child be left behind. The Department of Education receives the highest percentage of this province's equitable share. For the 2025-2026 financial year, 18.889 billion rand of the total 45.856 billion rand is budgeted for this department. The department is also the largest contributor to employee costs and will spend around 14.1 billion on salaries during the financial year. Nonetheless, this is a labour-intensive department. However, upon early inquiry, it was indicated that the department does not plan for maternity leave expenses. Therefore, it does not budget to pay coverage for teachers who take such leave. This lack of foresight is the reason the department finds itself with unforeseen expenditure. One would think that taking into consideration that most teachers are female and many are of childbearing age, the department would have a formula to foresee such expenses. In addition to this, there are numerous cases where teachers are suspended, but where the disciplinary processes take years to finalize, all while 2 teachers are paid to fill 1 position. This places an additional burden on the department, money that could be used to employ more teachers or help to improve in other areas. Honourable Speaker, safety in our schools is not optional, and there's no such thing as half measures when it comes to protecting young lives in places of learning. According to the fourth quarter crime stats for 2024-2025, 8 rape incidents occurred at Free State educational institutions, with 7 of the 8 happening at our schools. 8 assaults occurred with the intent to inflict grievous bodily harm and 1 attempted murder. This, MEC, through you, Honourable Speaker, is simply unacceptable. During the last financial year, it was reported that 649 employees of the Free State Department of Education had criminal records, including murder, rape, and drug trafficking. Recently, a teacher from the Makabelane Technical School was found guilty of sexual assault, one of many examples of the significant threats faced by learners in the schooling system. Also concerning is the fact that the department is not compelled to criminally charge perpetrators, which remains the responsibility of the affected learners' parents or guardians. Safety in and around schools must be a priority. Other issues like the theft of school assets and break-ins at school hostels must also be a priority. The Honourable MEC must look at possible legislation where officials are compelled to report sexual offenders and that perpetrators are listed as sex offenders with the SAPS and other databases to ensure that they do not teach again. Our children must be safe, and the job starts with us. We must do more to protect our future, and we must match these efforts by supporting families during those times when they need it the most. Another issue that runs like a plague through our schools is the basic management capacity of the school management teams. As seen on various visits to schools across the province and through complaints received from residents, too many are made powerless by either a district director who wants to cash in on the school's money or department officials who appoint their friends in school management positions in order to receive kickbacks. Honourable Speaker, these are some issues that arise when a child is already in school, but getting there is another problem they must face. Thousands of our scholars must walk dangerously long distances to get to school. They must sometimes face severe weather conditions and unsafe roads. This because of a significant lack of safe scholarly transport services and our roads. And in areas where the services is available, buses are unroadworthy, and contract mismanagement and corruption all come to the forefront of the problems we see in our scholar transport services. Our children show up to school exhausted. This directly influences the value of the education received in the classroom and is ultimately reflected in learners' school results. An example of this is the road between Excelsior and Tweespruit, which is now under construction again, but where children have to wake up very early just to get to school on time. We often hear about children being hit by a vehicle or their way home from school. Not too long ago, this happened right here in Bloemfontein in front of Central Primary School. Honourable Speaker, our classrooms are overfull with an average of 40 to 50 learners per classroom. Our infrastructure and resources are not built for such large classes. More importantly, children are not receiving the necessary attention and getting quality education they deserve, with too many falling through the cracks. We need to work towards the appointment of more qualified teachers and to make the class sizes smaller. This is only possible if we can build more classrooms. We need to invest in schooling infrastructure and perhaps capitalize by extending schools and adding classrooms to the schools that are already performing well. We have seen examples where projects came to a standstill in February and March, and this was due to funds running dry. Infrastructure projects at schools such as Hobhouse, Welkom, Riebeekstad, Amelia, Volpark and Tweespruit, to name a few, also came to a halt and then the department, out of the blue, announced a new school to be built in Langenhoven Park, without the necessary plans on the table and without the necessary stakeholder meetings. We had to read about it in the news. The DA welcomes new projects and the possibilities they provide for learners, but it is imperative that these projects are completed on time and within budget. This means implementing better financial planning to ensure that contractors are paid on time and throughout the year. Ensuring that the work the department is invoiced for has actually been done. Additionally, these standstills disrupt the learning process and day-to-day classroom activities. It also poses an unnecessary health risk. Small grade R learners being forced to walk past building sites and machinery just to use the bathrooms. Honourable MEC, through you, Honourable Speaker, it is vital that we look at the security and well-being of our learners on a day-to-day basis from grade R throughout to matric. Only focusing on matric does not bring about a fortunate or a positive outcome. And when we look at the amount of money that's being put into this department specifically, we cannot say that we get value for money. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Mokoena.
Speaker, honorable members of the Free State Legislature, public in the gallery. Excuse me. Speaker, I rise to thank the ANC, the movement of the people. The movement of the people who suffered oppression and are still battling its legacy. I want to thank this movement, Speaker, today, because upon taking power in 1994, the government of the ANC increased the budget of education from 10 billion in 1993 to 332 billion in 2025. This is what you will never be told. Speaker, this government has built after 25,000 schools to today, that the matric or grade 12 rate moved from 37% in 1993 to about 87% in 2024. The Free State government budget moves from 19 billion in the current financial year to about 20 billion over the MTF. That this government has introduced new areas that will ensure that the grade 12s will leave school with work-ready qualifications. They will never say it. It is still very difficult to extract the truth from some of our public representatives. They will never tell you, Speaker, that this government has conducted a training, including to upskill, of about 1,005 of our ECD teachers as part of making mainstreaming, ECD centers to prepare our children for early learning. They will stand here, complain about contractors being payment, no public participation in some schools in Langenhoven Park, but they'll never tell you why they oppose the Bella Act. This is the hypocrisy that we live with. These are parties that come from the history of exclusion and building barriers using language. In terms of their view, Bella Act centralizes power, it diminishes SGB and local community in making decisions about language and admission policy. It centralizes these decisions with an HOD, and they want this to go back to the SGBs. Yesterday, they were telling us that government decision-making power must be removed from the politicians, be placed to the administration in the name of professionalism. When it suits them, take power to officials because it's professionalism. When it doesn't suit them, I take power away from officials who are over-centralizing it. In our view, with the history of the country that we have, Bela Act protects learners' rights. It abolishes corporal punishment, makes grade R compulsory. It encourages language inclusivity. It kills incidents where children will be excluded on the basis of them being a minority in a particular area. But the party that represents the minority right today fights when we deal with a minority that happens to be black in certain instances. It's quite interesting, Speaker, that none whatsoever, including the MKP, will stand here and say, ANC government, thank you for building new 6 additional schools in the last financial year. They'll never say that. They'll complain about the schools in the farming areas, the buses that are not roadworthy. The police must arrest those people. If I'm in opposition, I'll stand here and say, tell the police to go and arrest them. But when you talk about police imperatives, you tell us about buses that are not roadworthy. What exactly are you telling us? You took the policy issue, which is a Bela Act, to court because you do not want it. You are dealing with an opposition that will never be willing to say anything good about this country as long as they are not in charge. Where they are in charge, when Rupert tells them the truth, they gun for him. I'm coming to that. They will never tell you that in our schools today we do agriculture, engineering, tourism, telecoms, and ICT. It's like these are foreign languages that they are not able to say. They are prepared to say, therefore, I thought the matter is, instead of just conceding to the pure, simple facts. Now, it is tiring when you sit with parties that are supposed to be enriching the policy direction of the party. All what they do, they bring anecdotes, complain. They are not able to say, this is what we can do best for our country. The Free State opposition is something else, Speaker. And that's why I thank the government of the ANC for maintaining the course. If you are not doing anything, you will see problems. But if you are doing something, you will see progress, even if you make mistakes. Ours is an opposition that they wish that they were in another province. I don't know why they don't pack and go there. I really feel for those who elected them, because their heart is not with the people of the Free State. It is with the people of another country somewhere. It is very difficult, Speaker, with the 3 minutes that the Freedom Front Plus will have, for them to say, as Freedom Front, we acknowledge that the Bela Act will resolve the problem of African students who are being excluded on the basis that Afrikaans is not their home language in the section where we operate. I'm waiting to hear that. EFF ran away. Of course, they ran away because they were clobbered in copies. Had they won, they will be here with their red overalls. They also ran away from answering the mess they have caused that we saw with Trump there. I said, I'm coming back to that. Because they are not willing to take responsibility. You can never lead if you are in opposition benches and fail to take responsibility about some of the mess and the problems they are causing for us. It's easy to say things recklessly, but the damage done to the country, you then want to tend to blame it on the ANC government. The DA, I've already said, they are in court on the Bela Act. They basically take to court everything that is transformatory. And then they come to you and say, no, we will do better when we represent you. When you deal with the legacy of the past, they say, no, we've got a problem. You are doing apartheid in reverse. You are not doing well. There's nothing good that you, ANC government, has done, and therefore your people must vote for us so that we can lead them. Let's expose myth number 1. Rupert stands in the White House and said the mega capital is the Cape Flats. You saw how DA unleashed its media on Rupert because he was telling them the truth. You know, to them the truth is mega capitals in all provinces that are governed by African leaders. The truth is not in the Cape Flats, and they hate him for that today. They didn't want to say it. Their leader was speaking English, therefore I thought the matter is when he was told that you are the Minister of Agriculture, answer if there is white genocide in South Africa. Some fellow with a long tail was saying, no, these are no graveyards of no African, of white farmers. The Boers, they have been killed, thousands of them. Has the Democratic Alliance ever issued a statement and say it's a lie about our country? They've never said that as the official opposition. They will never say it because there's nothing that will come out of a government that is led by a black person. It's a racist party inherently. It's a pity that they've got some of us who are addressing them. It's time that we take this party to task. We expected them to stand here and take us to task on policy issues where we are faltering, not on anecdotes. This is a party that will deny, that the conditions of the road have been improved even when they are driving on that particular road. When they drink a clean water from a tap that is built by the ANC government, they will deny that there's water in that. This is how they are leading the country. They will deny that ANC government has done good in terms of education. DA. I'm going to sit on them because they are the official party, official opposition. They must be forced to take responsibility. They are leading a particular section that if they continue to mislead, we will see people.
I won't do the Honour Member, please.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I would like to know whether the member would take a question.
Will you take a question?
When I'm done addressing Trump, I will. Speaker, if I may continue. We are sitting with a problem in this country where we are rebuilding from a legacy of white minority super exploitation that has inherently destroyed many communities, that has reduced the African majority to nothing. Over 30 years, there's a number of things that we have changed, with a lot of mistakes, of course. But you can never get the country right when we've got an official opposition party that is never able to stand up in the interest of the country and the patriotism we saw Rupert showing in the White House and say, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, you are doing right. This is 1, 2, 3, that you are doing wrong. Even when we have given the ministries at the national government to run, it is difficult for them to say so. I feel for the Minister of Education, who is sitting there and having to battle with these contradictions that you see within this particular party. A damage is being done to this country by the failure of these parties to concede that in the interest of the country, one of the things that we have done and invested properly is education. That we are doing well on the education front, that we've produced many graduates that have gone to make the country proud, that this country is turning the corner in terms of many developmental challenges that it has faced, that we are sitting with budget challenges that are making the country to make very difficult choices to invest in the future.
Honourable Speaker, do I understand MEC Mukwena correct that the truth of the opposition is not the truth? Thank you.
The Minister of Agriculture should have been bold to tell Trump there's no white genocide in South Africa. That's the simplest statement he should have made. But it is difficult because he will have affirmed the black government is serving under. He said there with some movie being played. This is where we saw the country being failed at the highest level. Betrayal of the highest disorder. We might have issues on class basis with Rupert, but he stood firm and told the truth. The problems that the country is faced with. Opposition in this country, they are behaving as an opposition to the people that they claim to represent, to their development and to progress. Our children, the generation of this, the future generations of this country, they deserve to be told the truth. That in this country, you don't have to be the enemy of progress, the enemy of the majority to be in the opposition. That the minority and the majority can exist alongside as long as they're united by the common shared patriotic interest of the country. What we see in our opposition is far from that. There's nothing, Speaker, that will represent or will present here as the ruling party. Even if we can kill unemployment 100%, I'm telling you, neither EFF, DA, or the Freedom Front will stand here and say, we agree the stats are saying that unemployment is zero in the Free State. Even if we can bring a 3 trillion investment, they will never say it. Because it is not in their own nature, they are not wired to think like that. They think when we maintain the status quo, in terms of what existed pre-1994. That is when they are representing their constituencies. We want Van der Merwes of this province to work with us to rebuild this country. We want Van der Merwes of this
Honourable
country
Member,
to work with us to
You can
rebuild
sit
this
down
country.
now, okay? You.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would like to ask Honorable Sagifi, can he take the question? The question is that
You're asking if he can take a question first. Can you take a question?
okay,
Nah.
okay.
And as we ask Van der Merwes to work with us and the lawyers and so on, we must thank the principals in some of the white schools that are embracing inclusivity, that are embracing integration, that are teaching our children that they can live together, black and white, colored and Indians, that are telling them that the future belongs to all of them, not in terms of the politics that are represented by the parties that is supported by their parents. We want to urge them that for us to change things in this country, we need to have a common ownership and work the economy together. It can never belong to one group. And when we make change, including on the issues of land, it is not white genocide. It is not marginalization of the minority. The lies of the DA have got to come to a stop. Thank you very much.
The Honourable Acting MEC may now reply.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Let me take this opportunity to really thank members of the legislature, members of the executive in their participation in the debate. Some of the responses or some of the points that have been put through, they are quite progressive, and I think the department is taking note of the inputs that have been made. However, it is important, Honourable Chair, that a person who's standing on behalf of MEC Maboya, who has just received the speech about hours before she came to the podium, I got an opportunity to go through it. And I'm sure if opposition members had listened to the speech itself, they would have understood it's only one paragraph where we speak about matriculants. The rest of the speech focuses on ECDs, training of teachers, training of our practitioners, making sure that there's psychosocial element of our learners is taken care of. Therefore, for us to indicate that the focus is on matrics is a fallacy of the highest note, because it's only one paragraph if we have read, but because we came here to the House already prepared our questions without necessarily understanding and knowing what was going to be on the speech, even when we hear progressive issue, we are unable to navigate and change the tune. Like a record, you are told what to say, you must just come to the podium and say it as it is, or else Menier is going to hit you very hard when you go back to caucus. But we are not there. What we need to deal with is that when we speak about issues of gender-based violence, we agree in principle as the movement, as this particular collective led by Premier Letsoa Mata, who has been actively leading issues relating to gender-based violence. Just yesterday, she was in Belfontein, speaking to young men and women about the dangers of bullying, how young people should become the agents of change in terms of the work that we do, specifically focusing on learners. No, it can't be that when we come to this podium, we really want to act as if gender-based violence is somebody else's responsibility. It's all our responsibility. And indeed, in the budget vote, the department makes explicit that there is a particular program that is focusing on that particular issue. On infrastructure development, we will hide nothing from the masses. In actual fact, the budget speech itself makes reference to our challenges in the infrastructure delivery. And I'm very happy that through you, Honourable Speaker, that Honourable Leach make reference to issues relating to distance of learners from home to schools or traveling distance. It clearly indicates that she now knows how it felt like during the apartheid regime. We are today building hostels to close the gap. Already in the speech, we are indicating that Orange Grass Hostel has been completed. Construction is done. The kids who are staying in that particular area in Khabi will be moving into that particular hostel because we are completing it. We are saying 80, hostel in Tabong is almost 85%. That means by the end of this particular financial year, we would have Lebanon, they would have completed. But clearly it tells you that when you are given a script, you don't even listen, you don't even want to hear anything, you just come to the podium and say what you have already scripted before you even come to the podium. Honorable Speaker, and to conclude, the contract in reference to the school that we are referring to, I've been informed by the department that contract has been terminated. Therefore, you can be rest assured that that particular contract has been terminated. In relation to data from the ANC party, the department is indicating that there is no such a school in the Free State province. Now, you really need to get our facts proper, but over and above, for future purposes, the department will give clarity in terms of detail during the portfolio committee, because I'm surely you serve in that particular portfolio committee. Honorable Speaker, we have indicated that school safety is quite critical. We have indicated that our kids' safety is paramount. And the department is indicating that it has a particular program focusing specifically on school safety. I'm not sure what exactly colleagues were expecting, but if they've got rather better ideas on how government or how the department should collaborate, they're more than welcome to bring those particular initiatives. Chair, I'm sure honorable members are asking themselves what is sitting next to them. There are beautiful packages prepared by learners from a school called Seotlo. This is an agricultural school that we fail to appreciate that at least in the Free State province, we are navigating towards what we call our economic driver, which is agriculture. In actual fact, they have done beautiful packages as shown by the Premier, and I think they deserve a round of applause. And we want to thank them for feeding members of parliament today. I'm sure we will not return those beautiful packages. They're just saying, we want to share with you what we are producing in our schools. Honorable Chair, Honorable Speaker, part of what Mema Boya, as a doctor, whom has received his PhD focusing on mathematics. She's a mathematician. Her focus and her passion, and I'm sure members of the portfolio have managed to share with her of her experience this particular aspect, that her focus is on foundation phase. Her passion is on ECDs, because her perspective in as far as basic education is concerned, which is something that she shares with us, that you will not prepare a child at matric level. We need to make sure that the foundation is secured, is safe, is focused, is deliberate and intentional in terms of the output that you want to achieve at grade 12. So there is no way that in the programs that have been affirmed by the department, the priorities that have been affirmed by the department, that our focus is primarily on matriculants. But as a department, or as a collective led by the Premier, we work in collaboration.
May I just have a seat, Honorable Lichi.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. As already indicated, that a question can just be asked. I just want to ask the Honourable MEC whether she's aware that 12.5, 4.1 and 5.8% of trick textbooks.
Can I raise on a point of order?
What is the point of
The permission has not yet been granted for her to ask the question. She should first seek. No, I'll sit when it suits me. When you ran away from public accounts,
You may ask that the question. This is not affecting your time. You would choose whether to ignore or, and not respond to it. Honourable Member.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Let me then rephrase before I was interrupted. I just want to know, is the MEC aware that it was reported that only 12.5%, 4.1% and 5.8% of learners in grades 6, 9 and 12 respectively had access to the required math textbooks? Thank you.
Honourable Member, you had your time to speak, and those are the issues that you will raise. And now you participating in the debate. Okay, Honourable Member, you may continue.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. The member will have an opportunity in the Portfolio Committee or to write to the department if she wants a response to that. But here we're discussing the budget speech, and I'm responding to issues that they have raised during their own inputs here. As we ha re kgerela dipuisano tsa gompieno, rata go leboga like jaaka ke tlhalositse go leboga botlhe ba e leng gore ba participated in the budget speech, but most importantly we want to gear up our work on a right footing by really appreciating our SGBs, our learners, our parents, and communities at large. In this particular budget vote, we take note of the fact that in 2024-2025, Free State came yet number one, and the opposition continues not to appreciate. We're saying for the first time in the history of South Africa, the entire matriculants have bypassed the 90% pass rate throughout the country. These are beautiful stories to tell because, unfortunately, because of the positions we hold, we will never appreciate the good stories, even if our own children are participants and active participants in these particular stories, because those matriculants, they come from different classes, different races. Even the kids of this particular side of the house, most probably, they wrote matric, their families wrote matric, they were celebrating with them because of the initiatives and the hard work of the Department of Basic Education. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
On behalf of the legislature, I would like to make a disclaimer that the legislature shall not be responsible for any activity that may arise in this House using the gifts that you have received to honourable members as weapons of mass destruction during the debate when there is any disagreement. So those packages must remain closed. No one is allowed to open the packages. Wawana mahe ahatlameo kena gamona. Legala tana gamahe gamona. Gamukogile shebilenga de. So you are not allowed. Honourable members, I would now ask before we proceed to the reading of motion 2, that the Chief Whip should arise and give the report that he was giving for record purposes and noting now.
Thank you, Speaker, for the opportunity. I just wanted to alert the Speaker that the Public Accounts Committee received confirmations from all the departments that their budgets have not changed, and also the Committee on Budget and Oversight has also received confirmation from the legislature that the budget has not changed.